You ever find out something so insane, so unbelievably twisted, that you just sit there, blinking, wondering if maybe you accidentally woke up in a soap opera? Because that was me. Standing in my own kitchen. Coffee halfway to my lips. Reading a goddamn mortgage document I wasn't supposed to see. And guess whose names were on it? My wife and her ex. Yeah, that ex, the one who emotionally abused her and broke her heart so bad she needed therapy. The one I spent years reassuring her she'd never have to face again. The one whose name I wasn't even allowed to say out loud. She told me if I ever contacted him, she'd leave me. Meanwhile, they were buying a house. Together. Let me rewind 20 seconds. It was a Tuesday. Not that it matters. Betrayal doesn't check your calendar. I was searching for a receipt in our shared documents folder on the laptop. I opened a PDF labeled Property Transfer Agreement, thinking it was related to my late father's estate. Spoiler. It wasn't. What I saw hit me like a brick to the chest. No, scratch that. Like 2 bricks. One for the betrayal, one for the stupidity of trusting her. There it was. Right there. Black ink, legal language. Jessica P. Wright and Trevor. J. Klein? Wait. Trevor the toxic ex Klein? I thought it was some kind of joke. Or maybe she was co-signing for a friend. But no. My wife's social, her signature, her freaking name typed in 10 times across the document. Buyer 1, Jessica P. Wright. Trevor was buyer 2. It wasn't just a co-sign. They were joint owners. 50-50. They bought the house 2 weeks ago. You know what makes this even more insane? We already own a house, together. A nice one. A 4-bedroom in the suburbs that we've been paying off for 5 years. You know who made the down payment? Me. You know who's been handling the mortgage while she focused on freelance writing? Still me. So naturally, I'm standing, there in the kitchen, hands shaking, wondering what the actual hell is going on. She walks in like nothing's wrong, hair in a messy bun, yoga pants, holding a smoothie. Morning, babe, she says. I look up. I don't say anything. I just stare. She notices. You okay? I tilt the screen toward her. Is this some kind of joke? I swear to God her face froze like I'd just caught her microwaving a kitten. Color drained, lips parted, her hand literally stopped mid-air with the straw. Oh, that, she finally muttered. That? That's how she refers to secretly buying a house with her ex? That? I stood up, walked to the sink, and had to take a full breath. My heart was jackhammering so hard I thought I was going to pass out. You want to explain this? I asked. And folks, buckle the hell up, because what? She said next it only gets worse from here. You want to explain this? I repeated, my voice low, but with that kind of tremble that says one wrong word and the dam's gonna break. Jessica blinked. Then she tried it. The classic deflection. Can we talk about this later? I'm really not in the mental space. No, Jess, we're not doing the mental space thing. You bought a damn house I'm with your ex. Behind my back, we're talking now. She slowly placed her smoothie on the counter like she was diffusing a bomb. Then she sat down at the kitchen table, our kitchen table, and looked at her hands like they were suddenly fascinating. It's not what you think, she said. Every lying spouse's national anthem. I was still standing. I couldn't sit. My chest was too tight, my legs too tense. I needed motion or I was going to explode. Okay, I said. Then tell me what I'm thinking. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like my wife is making real estate investments with her toxic ex-boyfriend while I'm paying the mortgage on the house she sleeps in. She flinched at that. It's not about Trevor. Oh, so he just wandered into a home-buying situation with you? Coincidence? She sighed. It's complicated. Uncomplicated. Now. Jessica closed her eyes, took a deep breath, then opened her mouth like she was about to start a TED Talk on betrayal. I've been planning to open a wellness retreat, she began. I blinked. A what? A retreat. For writers. In Vermont. Somewhere peaceful. Nature-driven. It was going to be a surprise. A gift to myself. A long-term dream. I didn't tell you because I knew you wouldn't understand. You're right. I don't understand. Why the hell is your dream project co-owned by a guy who once keyed your car and made you cry in? A Target parking lot? She flinched again. I saw it hit her. But not hard enough. He offered to invest, she muttered. Invest? My brain screeched to a halt. So you're telling me, I said slowly, that you created a business with Trevor? Using funds I didn't even know you had? For a property in Vermont that you kept a secret? And you thought I'd just not understand? Jessica stood up suddenly, voice rising. I knew you'd react like this. You always think you're so rational, but you're controlling and you act like I can't make decisions without your permission. Oh no, no, you don't get to spin this into you're the victim mode. This isn't you buying a candle without telling me. This is a house with your ex. And it's not like I cheated on you, she snapped. Oh, that did it? I laughed, loud, bitter. Oh, wow. Congratulations. You didn't screw him. Just got into legally binding joint debt with him. So much healthier. She stared at me with her jaw tight. It was a business move. Then why hide it? Silence. I watched. Her crumble in real time. Her shoulders sagged. Her hands dropped. Eyes down. Mouth tight. Because I knew how it would look, she finally whispered. And yet, you did it anyway. We stood there in silence. Just the hum of the fridge and the distant sound of some neighbor mowing their lawn like the world hadn't. Just flipped inside out. I turned away. I had to. If I kept looking at her face, that mix of guilt and defiance, I might have said something I'd regret. Or worse, not regret. I walked out the front door. No shoes, no keys. Just raw adrenaline and betrayal pumping through my veins like jet fuel. I walked for miles. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed space. And while I walked, the same thought kept repeating in my head like a broken record. What else is she hiding? And then, what the hell am I gonna do now? I came back home just before sunset. My feet were sore, my head was pounding. I still didn't have an actual plan. Just rage simmering in my chest like hot tar. I didn't even make it to the door before I noticed Trevor's car in the driveway. Oh, great. My jaw clenched. This dude had the audacity to show up now? I opened the front door, and there they were. Jessica and Trevor, sitting on the couch like two criminals waiting for a lawyer. He was in my seat. My damn seat. The one with the sunken cushion and the permanent coffee stain. That was sacred territory. He stood up. Hey man, listen. This is... Don't call me man. He raised his hands, mock surrender style. Okay. Look, Jess told me you found out. I just want to clear the air. The air? I laughed. Trevor, you polluted the air the moment you re-entered her life. Jessica gave me a warning look. Can we please not turn this into a shouting match? You're right, I said. Let's keep it calm. So Trevor, explain to me how you, a guy who once got drunk and tried to fight a Christmas tree at Jessica's mom's house, became a business partner. He winced. That was years ago. I've changed. I smirked. Oh yeah? Your hair's still greasy and you still smell like vape juice and Axe body spray. So, not that much. Jessica snapped. Enough! You're being childish! No. I said, I'm being betrayed. Slight difference. Trevor took a step forward. Look, I know we've had issues in the past, but Jess came to me with a real vision. Something she was passionate about. I believed in it. She's married to someone who also believes in her, or did, until she decided to build her vision on lies. Jessica's voice trembled. I needed someone who supported me unconditionally. You always ask questions, doubt everything. You mean I have critical thinking skills? Yeah, guilty, Trevor muttered under his breath. You're overreacting. I turned on him so fast he actually stepped back. You don't get to define my reaction, Trevor. You've been hovering around her since college, and the second things got rough between us, you slid in like a snake in a business suit. Hey, he said, puffing up. I didn't make her do anything. But you sure as hell didn't stop her. He didn't answer, just looked away, pretending the scratch on his wrist was suddenly fascinating. I turned back to Jessica. So, what now? You moving in with your co-investor, or is he crashing on the futon in the Vermont hideout? Jessica looked like she might cry. But part of me wondered if it was real, or just guilt finally catching up. I don't know, she whispered. I just wanted to do something for myself. No, I said coldly. You wanted to do something. Without me. She didn't deny it. That night I slept in the guest room. She didn't come in. No apology, no explanation. Just silence. Thick and deafening. The next morning I texted my sister, Lauren. She was the only person who wouldn't feed me nonsense or sugarcoat anything. Me, hey, got a sec? Something blew up. Lauren, uh-oh, you in jail? Me, worse. Jess bought a house, With Trevor, Lauren. What the actual hell? Like, the Trevor? Cheeto Beard Trevor? I'm calling you. Right now. And she did. I laid it all out for her. No filter. From the accidental email to the smoothie to Trevor on my couch. She was quiet for a second. Then, bro, you need to lawyer up. I'm not ready to burn it down just yet, she snorted. You're not burning it down. You're building a launch pad to eject her manipulative ass into orbit. Trevor can catch her in his vape cloud, I chuckled. For the first time in 24 hours. Then she got serious. You're gonna have to play this smart. If there's joint finances, shared accounts, property, get ahead of it. She's already making moves. That hit me in the gut. Jessica had made moves. Secretive, strategic moves. I'd been outplayed, not in love, but in logistics. So that's when I decided I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't even going to cry. I was going to flip the script. They wanted to build a life together behind my back? Fine. Let's see how they like it when the guy they underestimated starts playing his own game. Looking back, the signs weren't just there. They were practically screaming at me in neon letters with backup dancers and a confetti cannon. But love has a funny way of turning warning sirens into soft jazz, doesn't it? Jessica and I met at a mutual friend's 4th of July barbecue back when she was working as a graphic designer and I was climbing the ladder at a real estate firm. She was fiery, opinionated, smarter than most people in the room. And she knew it. I liked that about her. At first, our relationship moved fast. Within a year, we were living together. Married the year after that. Everything felt like a movie montage. Laughter, road trips, midnight Chinese takeout, lazy Sundays with her feet on my lap, and Jeopardy reruns humming in the background. But you know what movies skip? The small arguments that build like mold in the corners. The passive-aggressive sighs. The first time she rolled her eyes when I didn't laugh at one of her jokes. The second time she said, "You just don't get it," when I asked about her. Dreams. We started drifting. Slowly. At first I thought it was just the usual life stuff. Bills, jobs, tired evenings. But then I noticed she'd get annoyed when I asked too many questions about her projects. Like she didn't want me in them. Just near them. Trevor came back into the picture about 2 years ago. "He's just a friend from college," she said. "He's harmless." Right. And my dog's a certified tax accountant. At first it was innocent. Or at least I wanted to believe it was. She mentioned he'd reached out on LinkedIn, said he was working on something big and thought she'd be perfect for it. I wasn't thrilled, but I played the supportive husband card. "Go for it," I said. "Just be careful." She rolled her eyes. "You sound like my dad." Ouch. After that, it became routine. Dinners out, talking business, phone calls. She took in the other room. Late nights at the office. Every time I asked questions, she got defensive. Once I even joked, "You spend more time with Trevor than me." She laughed. But not the kind that makes you feel warm inside. The kind that makes your stomach drop. Still, I convinced myself it was nothing. I'd known insecurity before, and I didn't want to be that guy. The controlling husband who stalks his wife's calendar and demands to check her phone. But it wasn't just time. It was distance. Emotional. Physical. She stopped touching. Me as much. We stopped laughing together. She started calling me dude when she was annoyed, as if I were some coworker who forgot to mute his mic in a Zoom call. And the money. Oh man, the money. Little withdrawals here and there. Unexplained expenses. When I asked, she brushed it off. "Just startup costs," she'd say. "Design work, marketing stuff." But she never showed me any of it. She didn't even ask for my input. Just expected blind trust. And like a fool, in love, I gave it. Over and over. Then came the Vermont trip. She told me it was a networking retreat. "No spouses," she said. "It's all business." But now I know she wasn't in a stuffy conference room eating overpriced pastries and pretending to care about branding trends. She was house hunting. With Trevor. Behind my back. With our money. I remember a conversation we had a few months before all this exploded. We were lying in bed, backs to each other, phones in hand, the glow of separate lives lighting our faces. "Do you ever wonder," she said out of nowhere, "if we married too young?" I looked up from my screen. "No." "Do you?" She shrugged. "I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe we didn't know what we really wanted back then." I didn't answer. I just stared at the ceiling, wondering when we stopped including me. I used to think marriage was about growing together, but sometimes people grow away. And Jessica? She'd been growing toward someone else. I wasn't just hurt, I felt stupid. Like I'd been auditioning for a role I thought I already had. The irony? I never stopped loving her, even when she was emotionally unavailable, even when she was pulling away, even when she started talking about Trevor with that slightly too bright tone. But love isn't supposed to mean loyalty to your own destruction. Lauren said it best on the phone that night. Jess isn't dumb. She knew what she was doing. She chose to make moves behind your back. This isn't just betrayal, it's strategy. Don't give her the benefit of the doubt. Give her the bill. And that hit me. Jessica hadn't made a mistake. She'd made a plan, and now it was time I made mine. After Lauren's call, I sat in my car for a long time, not driving, not thinking, just boiling. Every lie, every networking event, every late-night excuse. It all burned in my chest like acid. I wasn't just betrayed. I was mocked. Quietly, strategically, and with that smug confidence Jessica always carried when she thought she was the smartest person in the room. So I made a decision. No screaming matches. No, why did you do this to me? Scenes. I wasn't going to be the broken husband sobbing on our white leather couch. No, I was going to be her lesson. First step? I called my buddy Travis, lawyer, cold-blooded. The guy once got a cheating ex-husband to give up a yacht and custody of the dog he hated. I told him everything. The business lies, the secret trip, the money trail. His first response, please tell me you didn't sign a joint LLC. I had. Of course I had. But it turns out that was actually good news, because the company wasn't legally filed yet. Jessica was still working on the branding. Travis grinned like a shark smelling blood. Perfect. That means it's not real. No protections, no taxes filed, no records. She's been siphoning your income into a fantasy project with another man. Let's flip the table. Then came phase 2, Lauren. I owe her more than I can say. Not only did she tip me off, she offered evidence, screenshots, voicemails, emails Jessica had accidentally forwarded to the wrong contact. One even included a rough draft of her and Trevor's pitch deck, complete with pictures of the Vermont property. There was even a photo, a selfie. Jessica and Trevor, arm in arm, standing in front of a cozy little cabin, snow in the background. Caption, our future home manifesting. That picture nearly broke me. But instead, it became fuel. I knew they were returning that Sunday. I had until then to prep. Travis helped me pull financial records. Lauren helped me print copies of every email and photo. I even dug up old texts, from Jessica to me talking about how our marriage means more than money. Sure, Jess. So much more. You just had to use the money first. And finally, I set the trap. When she came home Sunday night, I had the house spotless, candles lit, music playing softly. I wore the blue button-up shirt she once said made me look like I had my life together. She walked in, suitcase in hand, exhausted and fake smiling. Hey babe, I'm beat. That retreat was intense. Can we talk tomorrow? I handed her a glass of wine. Oh, we'll talk tonight. She blinked. Okay. What's this about? I motioned for her to sit. On the table were 2 envelopes. One labeled yours, one labeled mine. She sat slowly, eyeing them like they might explode. What is this? I took a deep breath. It's everything. Everything you thought I'd never find: emails, photos, account records. The Vermont listing. Her face drained of color. Wait, you went through my stuff? Actually, I said calmly, your friend Lauren did. She looked like she'd been slapped. Lauren, she's lying. That bitch always had a thing for you. I held up a hand. No, stop. Don't insult my intelligence and definitely don't insult hers. She's the only reason I didn't find out too late. Jessica stood, hands shaking. You had no right. I stood too. You had no loyalty. Then I gestured to the envelope labeled mine. That's my exit plan, starting with the fact that I've frozen our joint accounts. Every dollar you funneled into your fantasy project? Already being investigated for fraud. You used marital funds for a business plan involving your affair partner. I can prove it. She opened her mouth, then closed it. No clever comeback this time. And that cabin in Vermont? I added. Hope you didn't sign anything, because once this hits the credit report, no bank's touching you. She stumbled back like I'd punched her. You wouldn't. I leaned in. I already did. And then the final blow. I'm filing for divorce. Tomorrow morning. With cause. You'll be hearing from Travis. And before you get any bright ideas about fighting for assets, just remember, I have receipts. Literally. Jessica sank onto the couch, eyes wide, hands trembling. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just sat there, hollow, like the castle she'd built around herself had vanished, and all that was left was a throne made of sand. I didn't think you had it in you, she whispered. I smiled, cold and calm. Yeah, you counted on that. Then I walked out, just like she walked out on me, months ago. Only this time, I had the final word. I didn't sleep that night. I drove, just drove. Down the empty highway, past gas stations, past neighborhoods where every glowing window felt like a punch to the ribs. What the hell do you do after something like that? You start over. You get mad, and then you go nuclear. The next morning, I walked into Travis's office and signed the papers. Divorce, with cause, grounds, marital fraud, financial misconduct, and adultery. It wasn't just personal anymore. It was legal, and Jessica was about to learn just how expensive betrayal can get. Travis filed motions so fast, it made her head spin. He slapped her with a subpoena for her bank records, a cease and desist for using any marital funds for her fake business, and a temporary freeze on all assets until the investigation concluded. Her little our future home manifesting dream manifested into dust, and then karma did what karma does best. Trevor, her perfect business partner / secret lover, bailed. Turns out he didn't want to be dragged into a legal battle. With potential fraud charges hanging over his head, he ghosted her, deleted social media, pulled out of the Vermont property deal. I know because I bought the listing out from under them. Yeah, Travis set it up through a shell LLC. Jessica never saw it coming. That photo of her and Trevor smiling in front of the cabin? Now it's mine. I framed it. Put it on the mantle of my new vacation home just to remind myself what I survived. But that wasn't the explosive part. That came when Jessica tried to play victim. She called her parents, her friends. She painted herself as the poor, abused wife who wasn't appreciated and just wanted to build something of her own. Cue crocodile tears. Unfortunately for her, Lauren had already done the Lord's work. The screenshots, the voicemails, the business plan that literally referred to me as the funding idiot? Yeah, Lauren shared them with everyone, including mutual friends, including Jessica's family. One of her aunts replied, "He deserved better than this. You embarrassed us." Her mom stopped taking her calls. Her dad emailed me saying, "Whatever you need in court, son, I'll testify." I didn't raise her to be this selfish. I almost cried reading that. But Jessica, she spiraled. She lost friends, clients. The local women's business group she was trying to join blackballed her after Lauren handed over everything. Turns out, building a female empowerment brand while cheating on your husband and laundering joint funds is kind of a PR nightmare. The final blow? 6 weeks after our separation was official, I threw a backyard party. Not to celebrate, just a gathering. Friends, neighbors, the people who stood by me, even Lauren came. She brought wine and a date. Halfway through the evening, guess who showed up at the edge of the driveway? Jessica. She looked nothing like the boss lady powerhouse she used to present to the world. She looked tired, lost, like a storm that forgot what direction it was supposed to blow in. I walked over. Quiet. Calm. She looked up at me and whispered, "I didn't know you could be this cold." I sipped my beer. "I'm not cold, Jess. I just finally matched your temperature." She tried to hand me a letter. I didn't take it. Then, for the first time, she said it. "I messed up." I raised my eyebrows. "Messed up? Jess, you didn't. Forget to pay a bill. You tried to replace me and thought I'd fund the process." She looked like she wanted to cry. I waited for the waterworks. Nothing came. So I turned to leave. That's when she said it, the final straw. "I think about you every day. About what we had. I miss being your wife." I paused, turned back. "Then maybe," I said slowly, "you should have acted like one." Boom, that was it. Jessica left, and I let her go, for real this time. In the months that followed, I rebuilt. Not just my finances, but my life. I bought that cabin in Vermont and fixed it up myself. I started a side business flipping properties with Travis's help. I even started dating again. No rush, no pressure, just real conversations, honest laughter, no secrets hiding behind branding decks. And Lauren, she's still around. We laugh now sometimes about how she blew up her best friend's world to save mine. Her date from the party didn't last, but we stayed in touch. Sometimes I wonder, no, that's another story. This one ends here. Jessica thought she could rewrite our marriage like a business pitch, polish the margins, fake the data, pivot when needed. But love isn't a startup, and I wasn't her investor. So, here's to lessons learned, houses reclaimed, and futures built from the ashes of betrayal. Because when your wife tries to ghost you with your own money, you don't beg, you rebuild, and you make sure the echo of your footsteps walking away is the last thing she hears. And here it is, the finale of today's story. Did everything turn out as you imagined, or did it end unexpectedly? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the discussion together. If this story kept you in suspense, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join an incredible community where exciting new stories unfold every day. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Thanks for your attention and see you on your new adventures.